lost all control. Gravity is all that I know. She's over me. She's over me. She comes in with her hypnotic dance. She holds me here with only a glance. She's over me. She's over me.
And welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Paranormal Portal Night Terrors. Hope you're doing well out there. Hope you guys are having a great night, and thank you so much for joining us here on the show. I'm your host, Brent Thomas, and hope things are good. Thanks so much for being here and being a part of the shows, and thanks to all of you who have been supporting us in so many different ways since the inception of the Paranormal Portal. It's been, of course, a labor of love. It's a lot of blood, sweat, and tears to put on these shows, especially the schedule that we got cooking here on the Portal, but I got to tell you, you guys make every show worthwhile, and thank you so much for that. I'm getting a lot of great emails. Right off the bat, I just wanted to touch on something that wasn't really paranormal, but it's really important to me. And I know how hard this can be, especially for younger people. And I received an email today, and I'm not going to go into names or anything like that, but of a mother reached out to me and was telling me about her daughter who loves the show. And it was just really cool, and it's so nice to hear that young people are resonating with the Portal as well. That's really, really cool, and it really means the world to me because I hope that what we do appeals to, a wide variety of people. I hope that it's a good show, not to just, one section of our communities, but I hope it appeals to a broad section. So I thought that was really cool, but the mom went on to explain to me how her daughter's been going through such a hard time, and she's in school, of course, and has apparently been really, I don't know, I guess I'm kind of assuming, but mistreated by her peers and treated really poorly. And I just wanted to take a moment to address that and to send a message to her if she's listening, because mom says she listens and she loves the show and has even shared the show with people she knows. And so that's really sweet, and it means the world to me. But I want to reach out to the young lady who's been struggling with this, because it's double tough. It's so hard to be young. It's so hard to be young, and I wouldn't want to go back and repeat that for anything. I didn't enjoy being young. I didn't enjoy coming up through school and stuff like that. I didn't enjoy the dynamics and stuff, and I was kind of an outcast as well back in the day. I kind of decided to do my own thing by later high school, but there was those formative years where people's opinion means the world to you, because it weighs so heavily on every one of your days. And the thing is that I started to realize that the people that were terrible to me weren't looking at me. They weren't seeing me. They were looking at me through their own damage. And what they were seeing was their own damage. And that's what they were essentially lashing out on. And it's a hard place to get to. And it doesn't make it necessarily easier, but I think it's important to understand that the broken is theirs. It's not yours. It's not you that's broken. It's the people that are looking at you and treating you poorly that are broken. And it does, I think, help to understand that, because then you can look at them maybe with a sense of, I know it's hard, because when people are dicks, they're huge dicks, and it's tough to work around. But at least you can look at them with a sense of, you are so small, and you are being so little, and you are being such a child and not necessarily verbalizing those things, but just knowing them inside. Because I think at the moment you verbalize those things, unless you're willing to, bust somebody's tail, I hope that nobody ever has to fight or anything like that. But my point is that understand that it's not you that they're rejecting. It's just a portion of themselves. And that's what they lash out at. They're lashing out from their pain, not because they're good people or they got it all figured out. They may act like they do. They may be popular to other kids, but that's going to be probably the highlight of most of their lives. There's some people that I have known throughout the course of my life, and high school was kind of where they topped out. That was kind of the big deal for them. And then the rest of their lives was just a grind in alcoholism and broken marriages and relationships and all kinds of problems because they never grew past that. Some of them will. Some of them will go, man, I was a dick and I need to change who I am because I don't like that me. And they'll figure it out. But just know, for whatever it's worth, you are a bright and shining light, and don't let them choose how you shine. Don't ever let anybody else choose how you shine. You just shine and you be you. You cast your light as brightly as you can into this dark world, and enjoy your life as much as you can. And shut them out. Don't let them touch your heart, because they don't deserve that power. Nobody deserves that power that's going to treat you poorly. So please understand. I know what it's like. I've been there, and it's a tough place to be. But you don't have to let them control you. You don't have to let them decide how you feel about yourself. You are amazing just being the light that you are, and continue to be that light no matter what. Don't let anybody take that away from you. Don't let anybody change that, and don't let anybody diminish that, because your light is your gift to the world. Your light is the gift to those people around you that do love you and do enjoy your presence in their lives. And that's what you need to focus on. That's what you need to aim at. And sooner or later, those other people will either figure it out or they won't. But the more you work on it, the less they're going to be able to touch you in your heart. So my heart goes out to you. I'm sorry that things have been so hard, but just know it's not you. It really isn't. And they're going to try to say it is. They're going to try to say that there's something about you that is so offensive to them, but just understand it's them speaking of their own broken, That's them projecting their own issues outward. And I hope that can help us. We love you dearly. And I'm glad that the portal has been something that makes you smile and makes a difference in your day. That's the greatest honor I could ever hear. And just know that life, that's not the way life goes usually. Most people grow and they adapt. And by the time you hit college, people aren't going to be so stupid and gamey and silly and childish. They're going to be young adults, and they're still idiots in college. Don't get me wrong, but there's generally less of them because people are paying to be in college. They don't want to blow their money being an idiot. So there are some that do, but be that as it may. But my point is just know that what you're dealing with is just some broken people projecting their own issues. We love you. I'm glad you found the show. And thank you so much for being here and thinking so highly of the Paranormal Portal. To me, that means the world. So I don't know if that matters or if that helps any, but I just wanted to take that moment and reach out to you because I know it's tough. I know it is, but it does get better. So anyway, I appreciate you guys giving me that moment to speak to that person. And I hope you guys are doing wonderful. And thank you to all of you who are in here right now and to all of you who are coming. Thank you, El. I mean, I don't know. It just breaks my heart that somebody's being just mistreated. And I know, because I've been there. I've been that person. And I know what that feels like and how devastating it is. But once you kind of see past it and you see what it's all about, it doesn't become as hurtful. It becomes way more pathetic and sad. And it's sad for the people doing it, not the person receiving it, hopefully. But anyway, I guess that about gets us underway here on the Paranormal Portal. So I don't know about you guys, but it's time for bed. Oh, yeah, I got to push more buttons. I'm sitting here like, oh, yeah, I didn't push my button back. All right, guys, I guess we are back at it, and we are underway. So I got some stories pulled up for you to hopefully entertain you. And I want you to know that the phone lines are open if you want to call and reach out to me here on the show. I'd be happy to hear from you. The phone number for the Paranormal Portal is 720-923-0500. Again, 720-923-0500. And I will do my best to see it and answer it as quickly as I can. Now, remember, tomorrow night, ladies and gentlemen, Mrs. Deborah Varner will be here on the portal, and she'll be doing psychic readings. And I hope you guys will tune in tomorrow night. Call in and hold the line. We'll get to the calls as fast as we can. You know, the sooner you call in, and I'll open the phone lines about 10 or 15 minutes before the show. So if you want to jump on the phones prior to the show actually launching, that's fine. I don't know how many calls we can handle on hold, and just know we'll move through the calls as quickly as we can, but there's just no measure to how long a reading's going to take. It can be 2 minutes, it can be 15 minutes, and we'll do our best to get through them as quickly as we can. So that's tomorrow night on the Paranormal Portal. I hope you guys will join us then, same time, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, right here on YouTube. So, all right, let's get to some scary stuff, or at least some spirit stuff. All right, so the first one tonight, I don't know if I read this one or not, but no, I don't. I think I might have read this one. Sorry, I got to close this one. I forgot to close it last night. This first one is coming from Texas, ladies and gentlemen. I believe, unless I forgot to close this one too, but we'll see. I'm going to read it anyway. It might be a duplicate from last night, but that's just how I roll. I'm a one-man band here on these other nights when Don's not here, so sometimes I don't get to everything that I intend to. So anyway, let's get to this first one from Texas, and it says, since my other story that I submitted, a few things have happened. If you read my last story, there's a slight chance that there is a spirit of a little girl in my home. And I have now confirmed that this is indeed true. The first thing that happened was this. I was reading a book for school, and it was getting pretty boring, so I memorized my page number, closed the book, and turned on my TV. Well, after a few minutes, my TV turned off by itself. I glanced at the remote to make sure that one of the cats hadn't stepped on it, but no cats were even in the room. I didn't think much of this and turned my TV back on, and a few minutes later, the same thing happened. This happened about 3 more times, and I got very frustrated. I opened my book up and kept reading until I finished it, and then I turned my back on and turned my TV back on, rather, and hoped it wouldn't turn off, and it didn't. Another thing has been happening while I'm trying to go to bed, and I'll turn off my lights and get into bed, but when I'm about halfway to sleep, my TV will turn itself on by itself. I will just turn it off, and this keeps happening over and over and over until I finally have to unplug my TV. My mom's checked the wiring numerous times and even called someone to check it, but everything is normal. So this is something that kind of upsets me, especially if I have school the next day. That's got to be hard to get to sleep if your TV keeps waking you up. One more thing. Recently, a hurricane, Ike, hit the city of Houston, where I live, and it was really terrible. And I unfortunately caught a cold on the day that Hurricane Ike hit. And I remember being huddled in my bathroom on the floor, sick, while my mom was trying to round up the cats, and the power had gone out, and my mom had a flashlight. So my mom had the flashlight, so I was sitting there in the dark, and suddenly I felt a tiny hand on mine. I was so sick that I really didn't care, and I heard the frightened voice of a little girl whisper right next to my ear and said, "I'm scared." And I just said, "Me too." And I still felt the hand on mine, but shortly after, I finally fell asleep. Well, that's it so far, and I'm actually starting to enjoy the company of the little girl. She hasn't yet shown herself to me, but I don't know if I'm ready for that quite yet. Anybody's comments are absolutely appreciated, but some of you may think that maybe I imagined the weird thing because I was so sick, but I am sure that I didn't. I felt the pressure of a tiny hand in mine, and whenever I woke up through the storm, the hand was still there. Wow. That's pretty hardcore. It's kind of sweet, but again, it really breaks my heart that these kids might just be stuck. That they might just be stuck somewhere like that. But I guess if they got to be stuck, it's probably good if, the people are at least kind or accepting of that. I don't know. Very strange. Very strange kind of occurrence. And again, it is what it is. If you're okay with a spiritual presence being there, just treat it like, I don't know, like a roommate. I don't know. It's up to you how to come to terms with things like that. But special hello to Haxer. I just see he's back in the show, and thank you, brother, for coming back. We missed you. We were talking about you, I think last week, wondering how things were going for you. But it's wonderful to see you again. So thanks for coming back in. And hello to everybody out there. There's a bunches of you coming in to check out the show. All right, the next one is from Idaho, which is the state I am in. So. Let's see what's going on in my area. Oh, in 1999, I had moved from the big city to Emmett. My parents had just purchased a new manufactured home, and they had placed on a 10-acre lot. And shortly after the manufactured home was complete, we moved in, and it started off real quiet. There wasn't a noise that seemed to clutter the air. Instead of horns beeping and people hollering in the city, we would sit out and watch the sunset under the occasional moo of cows and the continuous buzzing of mosquitoes. And at the time, there were 4 kids, 2 adults, and 4 bedrooms. So naturally, my sister and I shared a room. My oldest sister was over at a friend's house for the night, and the sister I shared my room with had her friend over, so I went ahead and stayed in my older sister's bedroom. It was about 10 at night, so I went to bed, and only this night was different. I was lying there thinking about my day and slowly drifting off, and I suddenly became aware of this really odd feeling. In the moment that I became aware of it, I got this image in my mind of a man standing over me looking down. To this day, his face remains in my mind as clear as day. I remember noticing his eyes first. They were dark in the unlit bedroom, and his hair was brown and bushy. He had mid-length beard and what seemed like a crazed look on his face. Not so much insanity crazed, but curious. In the shock of what was before me, I jumped right out of my sister's bed and ran into my room where my sister and her friend were giggling and swapping stories. I dove under the bed. Her instant reaction was, of course, "What do you think you're doing?" And after the surprise subsided from her face, she asked me what I was doing. I told her that flat out she couldn't pay me enough to go back into that room. She proceeded to ask why, and my only response was, bitter as it may have been, at the time it was, "You can't expect me to sleep with him standing over me while I try to sleep, do you?" At this point, she was only more confused, and after a few minutes, I had stopped shaking enough to tell her what had happened. Well, she decided to allow me a few to calm down before she insisted that I go back to bed. And when I went back to bed, I kept the door wide open and the blankets cocooned around me until I relaxed and finally went to sleep. That's the weird thing. That is the weird thing. And so here's the thing. I don't know. I can't imagine, let's say it's an average intelligence former person. It's an apparition of a former person. So it was somebody that was alive at one point, and I don't know. How interesting can it be to sit and stare at somebody that's sleeping, And so I've thought about this many times, and I may have even said it more recently on the show, but I wonder if, because I believe spirits are telepathic, they can just understand our thoughts and they can project their thoughts into our head. But I think it seems to me, what if they can sit and watch our dreams like a movie? Like I don't know if they can see TV or not. I assume that they probably can, because I've heard stories of ghosts sitting down and watching TV with people they seem to enjoy some TV shows. But I wonder if they sit and they maybe it's a voyeuristic thing, that they're kind of living through those dreams the person is having. I don't know. It's very peculiar. Like if it can be almost like virtual reality for them to observe our dreams and to see what we're experiencing and, recall the feelings and stuff like that. I don't know. It's the only thing that makes sense to me, because how long can you stare at somebody sleeping in a bed? Apparently not long, but I don't know. But I don't think I could. I couldn't stand very long and do that. So I think there must be some attraction to them to do that, and perhaps it is just as simple as watching our dreams like a movie. All right, let's go to the next one. This is coming from Illinois or Illinois. Why bother with that S? Why even bother? Uh, I've had this weird thing going on along with the pokes at night for about 2 weeks now. I feel or see something in our apartment hallway. Doesn't matter if my fiance is home or not. I see this figure standing at the end of the hallway by our bedroom entrance. The figure is white or light in color. It's shaped like a short boy and appears to be wearing a cape. I can't make out distinct details other than what appears to be a cape, and I get the feeling, whatever it is, that it's sad. Don't ask me why I think that. I can just feel it. I always had a dreadful feeling when I stand in the hallway since we moved in. I just don't like it. I first saw it around 2 p.m. while home on a sick day, and I wasn't on any kind of strong cold medicine or anything. The blinds were pulled in our bedroom, so it wasn't any kind of sunlight, and at first I saw it/him out of the corner of my eye. I sat up a bit from the couch, and it was still there. Slowly, it just faded away. Well, now I have poor vision to begin with, and I chalked it up to my contacts being fuzzy or something. But it happened again later that night, and this time I was in bed. I sleep on the side closest to the door, and I saw it out of the corner of my eye. I sat up, put on my glasses, and it was still there. But then it faded away again, and my fiance has not seen it. Or at least he hasn't told me he's seen it. I can't see details like the eyes or the face or whatever, but I definitely get the feeling that it's looking at me. Now, I don't feel threatened, but certainly uneasy. I wonder if the pokes I was experiencing at night have anything to do with it. I also saw a poster on here once post that spirits can follow you or something, and I'm sorry if I'm quoting that wrong. Once again, thanks for the comments and have a good day. I think they can. I think that they can form attachments, an emotional bond with people. The people may not be aware of it, but the spirits, I think, can do that. I mean, and it may be the instance that a person reminds the spirit of somebody that meant something to them in their life. It's could be a similarity that they decide, hey, that looks like my mom, or that person kind of reminds me of my mom, so I'm going to stick around. I'm going to follow this person, and they grow attached to that. I don't know, just some thoughts, I guess, but I think it's possible. I think it really is. And I think that there are some spirits that seem to be tied to a place, and there's some people that seem to be tied to people, and there are some spirits, they may not be tied to anything at all. They just kind of do what they want. I think there's a whole spectrum of things going on, and it could be a lot of different issues that play there. But I think in cases of ghosts and spirits, that their psychology is directly related to their experience or their situation. So I think that whereas our psychology may make us, feel happy or depressed or crabby or whatever, in the spirit realm, it might be more binding than that, and may cause them to become attached to something and not be able to leave it, or perhaps make it harder to leave it. Just some thoughts. I don't know. I just get random thoughts as I talk here on the show, and I hope you guys don't mind entertaining those, because I think these things are great to listen to. And before I forget, because I already forgot already, but now I just remembered, I want to say a special thank you to Truthseeker out there. I was on his podcast this morning and had a great 2-hour conversation with him about spirituality and manifesting and all of that. And if you want to hear that interview of him interviewing me, you can definitely check it out. Just go find the Truthseeker podcast, and you're going to find that it's on YouTube. I think it's on his Facebook. He put it over on Twitch, I think, as well as the normal podcasting platforms like Pandora, iHeart, iTunes, Spotify, etc. So I think that's pretty epic, and it was a great time. I had a great conversation with him. He and I don't know, it's like we just perpetuate each other in these thoughts and these ideas, and the ideas just flow. So it was a great time, a great experience. had a good conversation with him. So if you want, if you wouldn't mind, go checking that out and helping to support his show as well. I really like what he's doing, and I think he's got a really great outlook. And he's been, of course, on our show. And if you want to check that out, that video is here on YouTube in our archives. But it was a great time when he was on our show, and it was a great time being on his show. So Don would have been there too, but he got snowed in. So Don couldn't make it this morning. So we got a little snow overnight, and since Don lives out in the sticks, he got snowed in. He could not come at all. So anyway, it was just me. All right, let's move on to the next one. Okay, and this one's coming from Missouri or Missouri, whatever you want to call it. That's where it's coming from. If you want to call it Missouri, that's where it's from. If you want to call it Missouri, that's where it's from. And I hope you guys are doing great. 55 of you are here right now, so thank you guys for being here and supporting what we're doing here on the Paranormal Portal. Means the world. Absolutely priceless. Sorry, I got to cough again before I read this. There, I got better. It says, my name is Brittany, and I'm 15, and lots of weird, unexplainable things have been going on in my house. A lot of things that happens in my house are only happening when I'm alone. And here are some of the things that have happened. I was eating some candy, Mike and Ike's, and I threw about 3 pieces on the floor for my 2 dogs to eat, as they both were begging me. And neither one of them ate the candy, and I got up and let them both outside in the backyard. Oop, cough, got a cough. And I'm in my house completely alone now, and I go to the living room to watch some TV and eat some more candy, and the 3 pieces are still on the floor. Well, I'm sitting on a small red rocking chair on the floor against the wall when this green Mike and Ike candy flew across the room and hit my shoulder hard. No one was in the house, including my 2 dogs. And I know that it wasn't me, obviously. I wonder, that sounds like they got some spirit there that's like, hey, pick up your crap. What are you doing? This isn't a garbage dump. I'll bet you anything that's what was going on there. Another thing that happened was that I was playing a video game in my living room, and on this small red rocking chair that sits on very low to the ground, I was by myself. It was past midnight, and while I was playing something, or someone blew in my left ear hard and loud. My mom was asleep and my dogs weren't in the room, and I've taken some pictures of some of the rooms in the house, and a lot of orbs appeared in them. Very visible. I hear some scratching noises in my kitchen, and my bedroom closet door moved while I was trying to sleep at 6 a.m. My dogs bark at the walls in empty rooms, and I see shadows sometimes. Mainly they're in the kitchen. My kitchen table moved and made a loud bang and woke me up while I was sleeping. Ooh, that's not good. The scariest thing that happened to me was when I was downstairs in my basement, where my computer is, and I was talking to some friends online, and it was about 3 a.m., My mom was upstairs sleeping. My dogs were sleeping on the other side of the room. I heard this loud growling and moaning noise behind me. It happened 3 times, and I was so scared that I ran up my stairs and slept with my mom that night in her bedroom. Well, I never go downstairs at night anymore. And I've told my mom all of this, and of course she doesn't believe me. She thinks it's all in my head. So can someone help me? Is my house really haunted? Are you serious? You've been through all those things and now you're wondering if your house is haunted? You might be in denial at that point. That just might be a case of denial. If those things really did happen and somebody really dealt with that much activity, here's the thing. Most hauntings are not everyday experiences. Most of them are maybe once or twice a year, or, periodically, if maybe a couple times a month, something will happen. But there's, and largely is the case that hauntings are only sporadic at best, because whether it's because it requires a lot of energy for the spirits to do the things that we can notice, or whatever the dynamic is, we can only guess. But, I don't know if you've got something happening periodically at your house, then you could very well have a spirit presence. Now, I don't like the term haunting necessarily because it sounds just so negative. It sounds just terrifying and horrible. And I don't think most spirit presences are horrible. I think they're just there. But if you're experiencing several things throughout the course of a week or a month or, several times a year, then you probably got a spirit that's hanging out. And for whatever reason, maybe they passed away in the home, maybe they were attached to the home, maybe it reminds them of their home, and they found it somehow, or maybe it's because of you or whatever. But I wonder why people go through a laundry list like this and still go, so what do you think? Is my house haunted? It's like, well, I'm going to go with, yeah, probably. I don't know. How come you can get to that point and still not know? Now, the question is it a presence that's actually there? Is it a presence passing through? A lot of times we hear stories on the show about these one-offs. Like your house will be absolutely quiet for years and years and years, and then something will just happen one night that'll just be bonkers. And it just leads me to believe that there's these vagrant spirits running around, and they may happen on your house and decide to raise some hell quick and then pass through. Like they're just wandering for whatever reason. And so those happen too. And in those cases, that wouldn't really be quote unquote haunting, but it would imply that, your home was visited anyway. Very curious stuff, though. I always wonder about that, though. How can you get through a lot of different activities and go, what do you guys think? Am I being haunted? Is this really a ghost? It's like you can't write a few paragraphs and expect somebody to really dial in on what's going on for you. If you were there and you experienced that, then I'm going to say, yeah, probably. All right, North Carolina is next. That's where Deb lives. I don't know if Deb's in here. Is Deb in the chat? I haven't gone through the list at all. Let me look at the participants and see what's going on here. I don't see her. Okay, she must not have been able to make it tonight. But again, Deb will be on tomorrow night doing readings on the show here. Free psychic readings to callers of the show. So I hope you take advantage of that. Oh, thanks, Moog. I appreciate that. Yeah, I just looked at the participants list and didn't see her. But then again, the participants list. Oh, I'm awesome. Thanks, Aussie. I appreciate that, brother. That's sweet. I do my best. North Carolina is where we're going. It says, I already wrote a story. And for people who don't know, I think my school is actually haunted. This time, some things happened, and my friend told me things that happened to her in the past years. When my friend and I were walking on the track near the field, I saw a grayish, whitish blob that went into the woods, and I felt like something wasn't right when that happened. After we did our laps, my other friend told me that one time when her ball went into the woods, she had to go get it. And she found a rusty old axe with some name William on it. Also, she said that she saw a man one time with an axe cut off the tops of telephone. What? She saw a man one time with an axe cut off the tops of the telephone poles. Oh. Another time I was making something in my mom's classroom when I heard this low screeching noise. I was really freaked out. And I haven't felt more than one presence, and I have felt more than one presence too. This is really puzzling me, and I'm sure the ghost is a man, but I don't know much else. Also, the weird things start to happen a few weeks after I found this website. My other friends that said they saw things or stuff happen to them have never been into this website, and they hadn't heard any ghost stories at the time. You can read my other story and get the full details. I've been trying to figure this out, but I don't know what to do. What do you think? I don't know. Now, that kind of raises another point that does come up from time to time, and sometimes I feel a little bit responsible because I know weird stuff happens around the portal. I experience a lot of different stuff that happens as I'm doing the show. And is it all paranormal? Probably not. Is there a large portion of it? Maybe not. Maybe it is. I don't know. There's a lot of things that happen during the course of doing the show that I can't explain. Weird noises that I've been in this house for over 5 years. I'm pretty familiar with the noises the house makes. And still other strange things happen. And I don't know what to think about it. Could it be? Sure. I know there is a presence here of some kind, but I've been hearing from people that, I was interested in the spirits and all that stuff, but after I started listening to your show, man, weird stuff has started to happen. And I'm like, oh, that's not, I don't know if that's good. I don't know if that's a good thing or not. I don't know. Perhaps Perhaps it's a resonance thing. It's an energy thing that as you are interested in the paranormal, as you're looking into it, you are creating a, I don't know, for lack of a better term or a better explanation, like a charge, you're magnetizing yourself to the paranormal and creating maybe a beacon of sorts for anything that might be in the area. But I kind of feel like, ooh, I don't know, is that good or bad? So I'm toying with ideas about putting together some videos to help people learn how to do some rudimentary cleansing and ways to get rid of things if they're in your house. Best practices kind of stuff. I don't want it to be exhaustive. I don't want that responsibility. Well, I did what you said and it didn't work, but I want to give people some guidelines to work with and some links to other information that they can look into to learn how to take care of that if it's happening, if you want it gone. I know there's already stuff out on the internet, and I guess I could just, simply say that. Just go look for ways to cleanse that resonate with what you believe, what your belief system is, because I think if it makes you uncomfortable, I do feel bad if it's somehow related to the show, but I don't know necessarily how that can be. But then again, everything's possible. So I just want to throw that out there. You guys will have to let me know if you'd like to see videos done about how to cleanse, how to sage, how to, things you can do to get rid of spirits if it's bothering you, or, dialogues you can hopefully have to make things settle down. But I guess you let me know if you guys want to see that. I can certainly put something together that hopefully will help in those kind of situations. But I'll leave it up to you guys. So let me know what you want me to do. But I do feel bad when people say, oh, man, I've been having weird stuff happen ever since I've been getting into your show. It's like, damn, I don't want that. I don't want that responsibility. It's like, oh, shoot. So let me know what you guys want me to do. I want to help. If you guys are having trouble and you believe it's somehow related to the show, I want to give you some answers. And I try to, through the course of the shows, to offer you some ideas and things to look into. But if you'd like me to be more direct and address that directly, let me know. Okay, let's go to the next one. And this is Illinois again. And it says, when I was about 4 or 5, I can vividly remember what happened. I was living in the U.S. at the time when an Air Force base called Elmendorf. I was lying in the bed one night and I got up to look at my closet. What compelled me to do so, I cannot remember. And upon opening the doors, I saw what I can only describe as a whirling ball of green mist about the size of a basketball. Well, that's pretty big. And even worse, I heard a really horrible woman's cackle. I ran out of my room and to my parents' room where I confided in my mom and told her what I had just seen. And she told me, oh no, she told me I was just dreaming. But I can clearly remember it even to this day. And I also remember running and screaming from the closet, not from my bed. If anyone knows anything about green mists, I'd love to hear what you have to say. I'm hoping someone else has seen this before. I've not seen it since, and I don't remember anything else strange about that house. I'm happy to answer any questions anyone might have, though. This has bugged me my whole life now, and I want answers. Please give me your input. Even if you think it might just be a dream, I want to set my mind at ease. I mean, if you were up and on your feet and you opened your closet door and saw that, I think that you probably saw something. I was just thinking, let's check into this a second. Meanings of spirit orb colors. I want to just see if there's something orb colors and their meanings. Let's see if it's from Ghost Pro. Ghost Pro, really? Well, let's see what Ghost Pro has to say about it. Which Pro stands for Paranormal Research Organization. So it's Ghost Paranormal Research Organization. And this is from ghostpro.org, ladies and gentlemen. It says a scarlet red. Let me pull this over and I'll just put it on the screen. And if you want to read ahead, you certainly can. There we go. Let's put it there and I'll put it up on screen. It says, orb colors and their meanings. These suggested meanings are compiled consensus of several different color interpretations. Although they're generally accurate, additional research is needed to verify their meanings. And it must be noted that each is open to individual interpretation. So if we look down, there's a lot of different greens. So there's apple green, friendly, communicative. Yellow green is liar, cheater, dishonesty. So if you're colorblind, you're screwed. You're never you're never gonna know. Olive green is miserly, Scrooge-like. Emerald green is a healer, teacher, love-centered person, fertility. And forest green is jealous, low self-esteem, overly sensitive. So that's just the greens. Now I'm a guy, and we most guys I know deal with primary colors. There's green, and then there's red, blue, yellow, orange. We don't go into this. A lot of us don't go into this. Well, it's apple green. It's lime green. So I don't know. Scarlet is strong willpower, overinflated ego, pompous, survival-oriented, realistic. Dark red is anger, pain, psychological impairment. Deep red, so dark red and then deep red. I don't know, ladies and gentlemen. I didn't write these. It even gets better. There's vermilion coming up next. So deep red is short-tempered, stress, restlessness. Vermilion, creative, powerful, energetic, competitive, passionate. Light pink, sensitive, compassionate, affectionate, true love, openness. Salmon pink. There's salmon pink. Immature, dishonest. Orange red is confident, healing energy. Orange, strong motivation, healthy, adventurous, courageous, outgoing. Peach, there's peach. Now we're moving into the oranges. Peach is caring, communicative, ability to comfort. Amber is strong and courageous. Orange, yellow, optimistic, scientific, intelligent, perfectionist. So I don't know if I should read all of these, but the point is that when you see a colored orb, you can certainly do things like this. Google, what does it mean? I think there's a lot of information out there. You got to take it with a bit of skepticism. I would look at several different sites and try to corroborate information because, I mean, it's the internet. Anybody can write anything they want, and it doesn't have to be accurate. It doesn't have to have anything to it at all. There's a lot of bad information out there, especially in the paranormal alone. So I mean, and that goes. Let's see what are these? Let's see. These are images, colors of orbs. I just need more primary than all these different shade things. Okay, this one might not be bad. Let's see. Let's visit the website. This one seems a little maybe easier to read. Okay, let's look at this one. And this one is coming from, oh, Jesus, come on. There we go. This one is coming from ghostganghauntings.co.uk, blog archives 86. Orbs sometimes show themselves as an array of colors, and many believe there are different meanings for these colors, and here is a chart to show the meanings. Pink, openness. Red, stress, restlessness. Dark red, anger, pain, psychological impairment. And blowing up the page so I can actually read it. My goodness. Let's do that. Okay, good. Clear red is high energy. Peach, ability to comfort. Orange, healing energy. Gold, free-flowing energy and tolerance. Yellow, caution. Yellow-green, psychic growth. Green, healing, fertility. Turquoise, amusement, neutrality. Light blue, tranquility. Pilot light blue. It's shielding. Dark blue is shyness, survivor instinct. Lavender, at peace with God. Purple, stored information. Violet, seeking spiritual guidance. White, high frequency protection. Silver, telekinetic power. They used kind of a weird yellow for silver. And then brown, connection to the earth. I like this chart better because it's just more, it's not quite as many hues and tones. And I mean, when you're in a high stress situation, it's like, well, is that lime green or is that forest green? What am I looking at here? Is that yellow green? I don't know. The lighting is just all wrong. And I'm not meaning to make fun of anybody, whatever. It's just, it doesn't, nobody's going to really take a moment and really gather. They're looking at a floating ball of light where in their closet, for God's sakes. Are you really going to sit there and make sure to identify properly the color? You're going to whip out a color wheel and compare it just to make sure you got the right color? So I like it more like this, where there's maybe some variations, but it's not this huge laundry list. So I don't know. What do you guys think of that? Do you think that maybe spirit orbs are conveying meaning? Because I think color is important. I think color is definitely we all communicate, I think, to some degree in color. So could the spirits be using the orbs as color to share ideas or to share their state or their desire? I don't know. Very crazy. Just some ideas, but let me know. Color is very important, Aussie Tiger says. Cool. Yep. I think it probably is. Hello, Tracy Benna. Good to see you. That's a new name to me. Welcome to the show. I'm glad you found us. But you guys will have to let us know. I mean, all this information is out there. And here's the thing. Nobody has all the answers. So you can Google information just as much as anybody can Google it for you. Or, I don't mean to use Google necessarily. Whatever search engine you use, just do some searches. Because there is a ton of information out there, but definitely try to find sources that you believe in or you believe are more credible. Because anybody can write any kind of crap they want to in a blog or whatever, and it doesn't have to have even a semblance of truth to it. They may believe that's true, but there's a lot of misguided people, I think, in the paranormal. So be careful where you're taking your information from. But I do believe that orbs appear in color because they're trying to convey information through that color. So it can't be just random. I don't think. I mean, it could be, but I don't think it is. So hope that helps. I do the same thing. Like, for instance, and this is something that I've shared many times before, but when I see the triple numbers or like 1111, 333 on the clock, today I saw 222 and then 444 later, and I was like, oh, cool. And so I Google them. What is the significance of, and then whatever number combination. And I think numerology is a powerful divination tool and can help you, see if there's some kind of information you're supposed to be catching. And it's kind of maybe a cheat code for the universe to give you a little clue. And take it or leave it. It could just be random, for sure. But it's, if you believe in that, if you give that a shot, Google those combinations of numbers. If you keep seeing patterns of numbers come up, like you might see it on a license plate, then you might see it on a street sign, then you look at your clock and it's there, and then start looking into what is that representing. Because I think we get messages all the time. We just aren't familiar with how to read the signs, so to speak. Because I think that spirits mostly speak, or guides or angels or whatever, speak to us symbolically. They convey their information through symbol because, it's easiest to get our attention that way, I think. So when you see things that kind of jump out to you, find out why. Why is that jumping out to you? Why does that number keep popping up? Could it mean? So I always Google those things and found some pretty cool information. Encouraging things usually. Not too many of them are real negative when it comes to numbers. It's just encouraging for the most part. But I think there's power to that. And again, throughout the course of the show, of course, I repeat myself. I'm doing 10 shows a week. So there's only so much information in my head about this stuff. But I also think that we learn by repetition sometimes. And maybe I'm bringing it up because somebody out there needs to hear it. So that's always a possibility. So interesting stuff. I hope you guys are interested in that kind of stuff. I think the universe works in base 12, not base 10. Ooh, Nick. That's some pretty deep thoughts. Pretty deep for the portal here. All right. So let's take a look at another one here. Another one or two. What do we got here? Yeah, that's the one we just read. Let's see. Got to pull up a new one. I'll pull up one, and if we get done with that one in quick order, then I'll pull up another one. So this one's coming from California. California dreaming as I'm shoveling snow. Absolutely California dreaming. I have had episodes of sleep paralysis since I was really young. But today I had an episode that I did not understand. I felt like I was lying on the bed and couldn't move or talk. Since this has happened to me many times, I know how to deal with this a little better. I always feel if there's a presence in the room with me, or as if there is. Sometimes in this state, I'm able to move around in my room after some time. Today, something very strange happened. After being paralyzed for some time, I was able to turn my light on and walk around my bed. I knew that I was still dreaming, but it felt real. I wondered what would happen to me if I tried to hurt myself, so I banged my head on the wall to find out that there was no painful sensation. I very much just wanted to wake up, but when I am in this state, it's very hard to snap out of it. Then I thought that I could open my window and jump out to escape. And when I tried to do this, all of a sudden a black, ghostly figure appeared. It slammed the window shut, and I saw it put arms around me as if to stop me from escaping or jumping out. I did not see its face or anything. The next thing I know, I'm back in my bed just as I had started, but now there's a black ring around my whole body. I felt like it was that black figure making sure I wasn't going to try to remove or escape again. I tried to make myself wake up or turn on my light, but to no avail. I just naturally woke up incredibly freaked out, and I had this sense that the spirit liked me or loved me, but I was resisting it. I wanted to escape its grasp because I was so scared, but I don't understand what would have happened to me or my personal spirit if I had jumped out the window, and I am not sure why the ghost, for lack of a better term, stopped me. That's a good one. I don't know. I've heard that before, though. I've heard from a gentleman friend of mine years ago said that I was talking to him about sleep paralysis, and he said, well, that's when you're ready to astral travel. He said, just relax. And if you relax into it, boom, you can jump out of your body and go anywhere. I was like, huh. So it was kind of neat to see that correlation in this story. Could that be the case? So when people are experiencing sleep paralysis, it's a great opportunity to launch into astral projection. But I would say if you got the old hag sitting on you, though, don't project. Don't do it then, because there's many people that work with astral projection that say there's a lot of dangers to it in terms of being attacked by other spirits. So I don't know if that's true or not. I don't recall ever astrally projecting. Not that I'm aware of anyway. I've lucid dreamt a bunch, but I don't know that that's projecting or not. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. I don't know. I'm not well-researched on dreaming states for us. I did, for a number of years, experience sleep paralysis. Actually, it was like 2 years. Throughout a 2-year cycle, I had it a lot. Not every night, but several nights a week. I'd be dealing with it, and it felt like somebody was there. Now, I didn't ever see an apparition, but I felt like somebody was there doing this. Like, I didn't feel like they were pressing me down or holding me down, but I felt that they were affecting me so that I couldn't move. And that was creepy. It was horrible. And I if you've not experienced that, ladies and gentlemen, let me just tell you, it's an incredibly frightening experience to be in your body, but to be unable to do anything about it, to not move. You can't make yourself wake up, really. I mean, you can if you work really hard on it, but you gotta figure out techniques to do it. And it took me a number of tries, but I did figure out things that worked for me. But I don't pretend they'll work for anybody else. And what I found was after I could successfully break it every time, then it just quit. Like, I don't know if I outgrew it or because of that learning how to break it, or if I worked my way through whatever was going on with me personally or spiritually or whatever, that I was able to, I don't know, graduate from that in a manner of speaking. I don't know. Just ideas, just theories, just discussion, but that's what the portal is, ladies and gentlemen. It's just a discussion about all things paranormal. So, but I think, a lot of people have had some incredible experiences astral projecting, and I think I would like to try it. I know there's kind of some hypnosis programs online that can help you astrally project. And I had a friend actually try it, and she said it was one of the most beautiful experiences of her life. Now, the interesting thing was that she tried listening to the same thing again, but wasn't able to duplicate that. So it was like kind of a one-off deal that she could do it. She said she was able to fly all over and see different things and have this amazing experience. But After that, she couldn't listen to that same thing again and achieve the same results. But you can train yourself to astrally project, and there's lots of information out there. Oh, thank you, dude. I appreciate that, brother. I rock. Woo. Oh. D. Swagger says she bilocates all the time. Cade, I wonder if it's possible to prove astral travel. I don't know. That's a great question. I mean, they can't really prove spirits, so I don't know how they would, unless you could do it like a remote viewing experience, maybe. And maybe that's what's happening in remote viewing experiences. Maybe that's a form of astral travel that's, more directed. I don't know. Great questions, though. I don't know. I think that's really interesting. But anyway, let's see how we did. Let's see how we're doing here for the time. I got to look at the clock. Looks like we've reached the end of our journey, ladies and gentlemen. 56 minutes of fun-filled Paranormal Portal. I hope you guys have enjoyed our journey tonight. I really appreciate you guys being here. Remember, tomorrow night again, Deb Varner will be joining us here on the portal and doing readings. So I hope you guys will join us. And it should be a great show. It always is. I always like the phone lines just, boom, fill up all the way. It's like there must be 15 calls on hold at some points. It's just really cool. But I appreciate it very much. And ladies and gentlemen, make sure to check out our brother Cade's podcast as well. It's the Believe podcast. And he's got one other one out there. It's new, but I don't remember the name of it. And it's not paranormal related, but it sounds pretty hilarious. And make sure to check out our brother Duke Sullivan's World Bigfoot Radio channel here on YouTube as well. Duke is always here helping us out and making things smooth in our chats. So lots of people to support, lots of love to all of our fellow brothers in the paranormal community, and love to all of you guys out there who make this all possible. And thank you to all of you who have supported us, whether you've bought one of the songs on the Bandcamp site, or if you've donated via our PayPal, or if you've sent in super chats. It's all wonderful. Thank you all so much for that. It really means the world, and it really helps out more than you know. So, this is obviously not a get-rich-quick kind of scheme. So it's a labor of love, but you guys have made it all possible. And thank you to those of you who just let people know, and you're sharing the information. You're sharing, hey, there's this show I found. It's really cool. And we're getting a lot of people coming by referrals, and that's awesome as well. So thank all of you, to all of you that are helping to support and perpetuate the portal. It's really making a huge difference, and I am just honored that you guys love and support the show as much as you can in whatever way you're able to. That means the world. So that's going to about do it. So I hope you guys have a wonderful night. Thank you all bunches. Make sure to subscribe if you're not subscribed already. Click the subscribe and then click the bell to get notified when we're on. But if you don't know when the portal shows are, 7 days a week, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, right here on YouTube, we're doing Paranormal Portals live. So you can certainly catch it up, catch us then. And you can also check out our podcast, which is released 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And you can find our podcasts on Pandora, Spotify, iHeart, iTunes, etc., etc. So lots of opportunities. I hope that's enough portals to keep you all entertained throughout the course of the week. But I'm looking at launching a Patreon, and I've been working on that a bit today. So if you're willing to be an active supporter of the show, I'm hoping to build in enough value to make it worth your time. So that will be unveiled in the coming weeks or week, or whenever I can get it all nailed out. But I'll look forward to that, and love you all. Be good, be kind, be nice, take care of each other, help each other out, find the magic in every day, and remember to laugh as much as you can. And get that someone special a Paranormal Portal t-shirt. It's the gift that keeps on giving. So you can find the link for our gear store down in the description. So love you guys. Have a great night. And I'll be back tomorrow night with Deb Varner here on the Paranormal Portal. Hope you guys will be here. Love you guys, and sweet dreams.